Hello and welcome to Integration Ninjas. In this tutorial, we will see how you can deploy a mini stack application to AWS EC2 instance using Docker and GitHub Actions. In this tutorial, we will walk you through the process of deploying a full stack application built with Angular for the front end, Node.js for the back end, and MongoDB Atlas for the database. We'll leverage the power of Docker containers for easy deployment and scalability, and GitHub Actions for automated continuous integrations and deployment. Our Angular and Node.js projects are stored in a separate GitHub repositories, showcasing a modular and decoupled approach to development. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a solid understanding of how to deploy and manage a modern mean stack application in the AWS cloud environment. So the final will look like this. We will have deploy both this application in the EC2 environment, and one will be the Docker. We will have two Docker containers running in our EC2 instance. One is for the Angular and one is for the Node.js application, front end and back end. So we are going to expose some ports there, and that will backend will be connecting to the MongoDB. So this is like overall we are going to do. So first step is like we are going to deploy the Node.js application. So for that, what we are going to do, we will run our CI/CD workflow. We'll create a workflow file and we'll define two jobs there. One will be the build job and another will be the deploy job. In the build job, we will build a Docker image and we'll publish it to the DockerHub. And the deploy job, we are going to register on the AWS EC2. So we'll have direct access to our EC2 instance, and there we can pull the image from the DockerHub and we can run the Node.js app as a container. So one thing here in the build job, like whatever the .env file, the variables, secret variables will be there, we are going to create a secret .env file for the Node.js application at the runtime, and we are going to use in our application. So that's we are going to do. So we'll not have to like expose any passwords to the users. And same we are going in the Angular app flow, that will create a workflow in that repository and will build the image and will publish, and same process we are going to follow. We'll pull the image from the DockerHub and will run the Angular app as Docker container. That's what we are going to do. So let's get started. So what we need, like we can just create a we can create a AWS EC2 instance and the MongoDB Atlas account. So you can log into the cloud MongoDB and you can create a new project here. So I will name it as mean stack, and I will just click on the next and will create this project. So this is created, and we'll click on the database here and we'll build a database, new database. We'll select the M01. You can select as per your own requirement, and we'll name it as a dev cluster. Okay, and that's it. We are going to create the deployment. So this is a free tier account, so we are going to create this database user and all these details. Okay, so this is a completed process, so we can follow these things. So before this, we need to go to the network access and we need to allow this access from the anywhere instead of a limited IP, so we can access from our EC2 instance as well. Okay, now what we are going to do, we'll just set up a Node.js project there. We already have the two repositories, Node.js and the Angular app repositories we already have. We are going to set up a EC2 instance. We'll click on the EC2 and we'll click on the instances and we'll click on the launch instances. We'll create a new instance, mean stack EC2, and here we are going to select the Ubuntu Linux image here, Ubuntu image here, not the Ubuntu Linux, Amazon Linux. We are going to select only Ubuntu server, and we are going to, this is eligible for the free tier, we can see here, and we can select any key pair, so we can secretly like access to the like putty or terminal. We can log in to the AWS EC2 instance. That's it, and we'll just click on the launch instances. So the instance is created, and now we'll click on this and we'll allow some security inbound rules that we are going to do, that we will do later. Okay, let's do it right away, so we don't need to commit here again. So we'll click on the security groups and we'll click the inbound rules. We'll add the rules like 4000 will enable for the backend application, and 4200 will enable for the front-end application and will allow access. So we'll save this rules. So all these settings has been done. Now what we have to do, we need to write a CI/CD file for our Node.js application, and we are going to select this branch. We are going to write a CI/CD pipeline and Dockerfile here. So let's get started. Before that, I need to create a runner for this repository. So let's see, because we need to, if you see the what we have, this workflow, we are going to register a runner also on the AWS instance, so we can directly access that. So let's do that first. Click on the actions and the runner in the settings. Click on the new self-hosted runner. We'll select the Linux, so our server is Ubuntu. We'll create the runner there. Okay, so how we are going to access our EC2 instance, I can with the key pair also I can do, but for this tutorial I'll just follow the basic approach. We'll click on the connect and we'll connect in the browser only. So that's how I will do here. Okay, so we are going to install Docker here. So that's how we are going to see some commands here. So we'll install the Docker here. I have run the command. I will share these details in the video description. These commands are nothing but it will update all these details in the instance, and will install Docker and start the Docker as a service, and will give some permissions, and will restart the Docker, and will print the Docker version in the end. Okay, so we can see here it printed everything. We can see if there is any process running or not. Nothing. Now we will register our runner. We are going to follow these commands here, and we are going to download the latest action package. After that we will just unzip that package. Okay, and then we are going to configure our runner here in this EC2 instance. Okay, we'll name the runner as default group, and we can name the runner as a node runner, and we'll additional label. I will skip this part. So we can see the runner is successfully added. Well, the name of the work folder, which is by default _1. So enter. That's it. And now we can just run this /run.sh, and we can see the runner is up and running. Here runners, and we can see it's up and running, but I will keep this. If I do this for the React also, I need to skip this, close this and then again start. So that's what I don't want to do. We'll start it as a service here. So for that we need to run this commands here. We'll stop this, and I will just run this command here. I will share everything in the video description. So we can see here still the action will be up and running even if we haven't started that. So this is still offline. We can just, it shows it's invalid. Okay, this is status command actually. Go to this product docs and let's see the command actually. This is for the Linux only, and we need to start this. Now this is started. Earlier it wasn't started. Okay, now it is in the green symbol. So that's how we are going to start it as a service. Now everything is completed. Now we will open our Node.js project here. We'll create a Docker file there. Okay, in the Docker file we are going to select a base image, which is we can say, suppose node. We are going to select a node image here. We can select a alpine image itself. Okay, let's see, 3.18 we can select, and we will define a work directory which is nothing but /app. In our Docker container we'll define a new directory /app. So now what we are going to do, we are going to copy the package.json to the docker that container directory, to this docker. Destination is from this current dot slash, and now we are going to run npm install here in this docker container. And once this is completed, we are going to run this docker copy everything. Once npm install complete, we are going to copy everything rest of the code to the docker directory, and then we are going to expose a port, which is a 4000 port we are going to expose. And then we are going to do this cmd, like npm run start, which will start our server on the 4000 port. That's it. And once this docker file is completed, we are going to write a CI/CD file .github. Then here we'll create one more folder, workflows. Here we are going to write one more file, which is cicd.yml. Now we are going to write the CI/CD. Here we are going to name this as deploy node application, which will be running on the push event as of now only, because we are going to run this for this branch only. We are going to add this branch here. My current branch is, let me just check what is the current branch. This is my current branch. Now we are going to add some jobs here in this workflow. We are going to add two jobs. One is build job, and which will be running on the GitHub hosted runner, which is Ubuntu latest. This is GitHub provided runner. This is of limited usage. We can use our own runner as well, not the Ubuntu runner, it's Ubuntu latest. Now we are going to add some steps there. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to check out the source code here in this Ubuntu latest runner. Check out the source, and for that we will use one action provided by GitHub Actions /checkout @v4. We are going to use this, and after that what we are going to do, we need to see like our database details and everything works fine or not. So here we'll do one thing. We'll go to the database MongoDB, and click on the database, and we'll try if our database is properly working or not. We'll click on the connect and we'll see the drivers here. Okay, maybe not this one. Click on the connect. Okay, drivers and this details, and we'll open this database settings here, and we'll update this details right there. So dev cluster .this.net, we'll update these details here. Okay, so rest is looking fine, and the Mongo password will update in the database here. So now if we try to run this, it won't connect probably because the database credentials are wrong. Authentication failed, so we'll update the database there. So we'll click on the database action, and we'll click on this edit, and click on the edit password, and we'll create some password here. We'll update this settings, and here we'll update this password, and we'll try to rerun this, and we'll see if this is connected. So that's how like we are going to do. Okay, so we will need these details, like here it is exposed, but in the real world you don't want to expose these details. So what you can do is, in the action we can create a line that create .env file, which is nothing but we'll run one command here. We can see echo, and whatever the name we have here, right, mongo password, we will update this details through this secrets. So this details you can add in the GitHub secrets. So this is like a way you will add your like secret properties saved in the GitHub repository. So we'll show like we can use the mongo password. So how we will going to do, we'll click on the repository settings and go to the security and secret and variables, click on the actions, and in the mongo we'll need to create a new repository secret with the mongo password and the secret, and you can add these details. I have already added, so I will just update the password details here. So what I can do is, whatever the password we have, right, we'll update it here, we'll update these details, that's it. And once we get this details here, so where is our cic.yml file here, we can just write this details to the .env, that's it. And whatever the details is there, we will write this to the .env file here. So this won't create any issue. And once this is completed, we are going to proceeding to the next step, which is like login to the DockerHub. So for that we are going to run few command, which is nothing but docker login -u and -p, and here after that we need to add the password here. Same, we will add these details in the GitHub repository secrets, the secrets.docker username, and then the docker password. So same, I have already added, you need to also add these details here, docker username and the docker password. Okay, so you can add these details, and once this is completed, what we are going to do is, we are going to create a docker image, build docker image, and for that we are going to run this command docker build -t, and the name of our image is integration ninjas / Node.js-app from this current directory. So this repository you can create in the DockerHub. You need to go to the DockerHub and you need to create on the click repository, and you can create a Node.js-app. So this I already created, and you can select public and private based on your requirement. I have already created, so I'm going to use the same thing here. So I will just update this repository. So this is integration ninjas / Node.js-app. Okay, so once this image is built, what I will do is, I will publish this image to the DockerHub, publish image to DockerHub. For that I will run this command here, docker push, and the image name and the tag I will just name it as the latest only. So whatever the image I will push with the latest tag, it will picked up in the next runner. So once this is completed, we are going to create a new job, which is deploy job. So when this should be triggered after the successful completion of the build job. Okay, and this will run on the self-hosted runner that we have created. Okay, so we'll see the self-hosted, and after that we are going to add some steps there, which is nothing but we will pull the image from the DockerHub, pull image from DockerHub. This is right now in this deploy job, we are in the AWS instance. We have access to our this AWS instance with this self-hosted runner. We can access this with this keywords. Okay, pull image from DockerHub. So here what we are going to do, we are going to run this command here. The name of the command is we will just docker pull and the image name here with the latest. That's it. And now we are going to run this as a Docker container. Run Docker container, and for this we will run this command docker container -d-p, and then we have name it as like 4000 here, and we'll name this container as Node.js -app -container. Okay, and the image name right here. That's it. This is the way. But suppose like if we are like redeploying and the same container already exists, so we'll delete the old container if exist. So for this we are going to run this command here, docker rm-app f, and the name of the container, this one. That's it. So let's try this out if this works fine or not. We can see the commands here: git add dot, git commit -app, demo deployment to AWS EC2, git push, and let's see if this works fine or not. If not, then we will troubleshoot this. I hope this should work fine. We'll click on this and we can see like 2 jobs has been triggered: build and then deploy. Deploy is waiting for this to be completed. We will open this. The login is completed. Create.env file is also completed, seems like. Probably maybe like it can fail like because of these things. We'll just check this out. Seems to be like wrong file has been created, so we'll just verify this. Yeah, we see here unknown flag D. Okay, there is some issue here. Unknown short field D docker run container -d -p. Okay, so this was a mistake here probably. We'll just see this. This is the correct command here, and for this like let's see like write output to file shell script. We'll just see the proper steps here. Okay, so some command and then this line. That's it. Or if you want to append some data, okay, that's cool. Like probably we have hit this right command only. So we'll just see here, get add dot get commit -app. This was the issue here. The docker can't run. This should be the proper command here. Now let's see the docker push and the actions. You can see the new workflow will be triggered right after this, and click on the build. right now what has been created. Let's see. Seems to be work fine. Or probably like this is not correct actually. The deployment may fail again. If we see the docker ps here, probably will not see any logs here. Probably like this is something, the command should be right here after this .env. This is the correct way here. So I'm just picking some wrong things here, like maybe like I'm not good in that shell script thing. I wasn't under assumption that this should work, but I know this could fail. Let's see. And let's wait for this build to be completed, and after that we'll just start on the Angular app. Okay, so let's just wait for this. And we have this public IP4 here, and then we can just access it with this 4000 port. We'll do that, but before that let's wait for this deployment. Okay, this is completed, and we'll see the docker ps. Yes, now it is working perfectly. Yes, hello world from the express. So now we are good here. Actually we face a lot of issues here in this deployment workflow. Okay, probably I need that again. Yeah, not this one. Probably like we'll just copy that again. Okay, so now we will work on our no Angular application. So this part is completed. Now we'll open our Angular app. So here in which branch I am, just let me see. We are going to deploy the same thing here. We are going to build the Docker image and we'll publish it to the DockerHub, and then we will do the same process. Okay, so here in the Angular, here I will just update the API URL. Actually in the environments env.ts, I will just update with this one. All right, and let's see what is the command ngsolve. This seems to be working fine here. Okay, so okay, let's first I think we need to test that actually if the backend API we can hit here or not. Okay, 4200. It's needed to test that actually. Add users, suppose like I will just add integration ninjas@gmail.com. User added successfully. Yes, the API looks fine from the we have connected our backend here, so this is perfectly fine. So now what we are going to do is we'll update this code right here. We'll create a Docker file for this first. Dockerfile. So Dockerfile, what we are going to do, we are going to first build the Angular app here. We will select the base image, which is nothing but we can select the node again. Let's select 20 Alpine here, 20 Alpine, as let's name it as a build as a alias here, and we are going to define the work directory in the Docker container here, and then we are going to copy the package.json files, JSON to this destination directory. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to run this command, run npm clean install here, and then we will copy the rest of the content to this Docker. Okay, once this is completed, we are going to run the command which is npm run build, which will create a build for our Angular app, which will look like this, test, and then browser, then we'll have this index.html and other things. Okay, so this is the one part. Now the next step is like we'll just serve the Angular app. We'll use the ng-inx here, configure. If you have any configuration, you can create and just copy that also in this commands. Otherwise we'll just see like how we can deploy. Okay, app with ng-inx. So for that we will define the work directory. Now for that we need a image for that ng-inx, so we are going to use, let's say, what the images are available. I think we can use this 123 Alpine, yes. And the ng-inx, we will select the default directory as current directory as this user slash share slash ng-inx. Okay, user slash share slash ng-inx slash html. And after that, what we are going to do here, whatever the existing things are there, we'll just remove those things here from this directory. And then we are going to do one thing, that we will copy the build Angular app from the build stage that we have created right here on the line number 8 here. We'll copy all these things in this ng-inx directory. So for that we'll copy this from let's say build we have done. From build we have this directory slash app, there we will have the dist directory. In the dist we have the name of our Angular app, which is angular-app, and then we have the slash browser, and then we are going to copy everything to this destination directory, ng-inx directory. And then we will just expose a port as 80 because ng-inx is listening on the port 80. And we'll say, let's define some entry point for this with the ng-inx, and this -g daemon off will select. This is the basic we'll do for every ng-inx start entry point. Probably the spelling is wrong, daemon off. Maybe if it is incorrect, we'll check this out later. And now what we are going to do, we'll going to create a new directory, .github. We are going to write a CI/CD here as well. Now where is that .github? Now we are going to create one more directory, workflows, and here we are going to write CI/CD.yml. What we can do, we can copy the same things here from the Node.js app directory, so we don't need to do the same exercise again. Okay, so we'll just customize like what is the current branch we have. This is mean Docker EC2. The workflow should run on this, but we will just change the name as like deploy Angular application. That's it. And this is fine. The one we will have the build job, which will be running on the Ubuntu latest. We don't need this .env since we don't have any secrets for this project. If you have, you can think in the like you can add the secret variables and other things. How you are going to access in the Angular with the Docker environment, you can set with the build arguments. Okay, so login to DockerHub is completed. Build Docker image here, like I have already created a image with angular-app. You can also create some with your project name. I'm going to use this angular-app. So whatever the Node.js we have, just will simply replace it with the Angular. That's it. Angular-app. I will going to build the Docker image, docker build -d integration ninja / Angular app from this current directory, and then we'll publish it to the DockerHub. And then in the DockerHub I will just pull this But how I will access? I don't have any registered runner, so that's all. That also we need to register there, otherwise we'll not be able to access, because we have configured for that repository, Node.js repository, not for this Angular repository. So we need to do that. So let's understand the commands first. Docker pull integration ninjas Angular app, this one will pull the image, and then we'll delete if any container exists, and we'll run it on the, this will enable on the port 80, and we are going to use the port 4200 that we have selected. That's it. These are the settings, but let's enable a runner for this project. And also for this repository also you need to add the secret variables. Here, secrets and variables, click on the actions. I have already added, so it will be picked up, this details will be picked up automatically. And in the actions, you click on the runners, will register a runner there. This is the old runner, like I just tested it out. I will remove this. I will click on the new runner. In the Linux, we don't need to, because the runner is already there in the machine, so we don't need to download this. We'll just configure this with this command here. Okay. Probably this is already there. For this project, we'll just register this runner here, angular-app. Okay, probably we need to select a new, okay, we need to create a new directory, and then we can just register that runner. We'll create a new directory. One we have already created. Now we are going to create a new directory with Angular Actions runner, and we are going to go to the cd Angular Actions runner here. That's it. And now what we are going to do here, also we need to, oops, I think this is a blunder here. We need to revert this directory. We need to again download and register the new runner, and we need to start it as a service. This is a different repo. Because for this runner we already have one configuration, so that cannot be changed. So we need to register this as a runner again in the new directory. So enter the name of the runner group default, and we'll name it as a Angular runner, and we'll just enter all these details. And now we are going to configure this. Configure the runner because it is already configured. To reconfigure, remove first, seems like there is some changes there in the GitHub, and like it's not allowing us to create a new runner. Even this is a different directory here. env.sh, we already have one. And let's see the command here is, this is for this Angular app here. Cannot configure the runner because it is already configured. Let's remove this for now. So we can add the runner removal token, which is, let's see, add this and then see if it is working or not. Okay, this was already added actually. Now we can register it here. So now this runner is already successfully added here. And now we are going to register it as a service here. Actually, the problem was that runner was already added by me in the same repository, so I had to remove that configuration. So that wasn't an issue. And we'll just start this. And right here we are going to commit our changes. We can see the runner is up and running here. This is up and running. Now let's commit these changes. Git add dot git commit -m deploy to AWS EC2 git push. So this is already deployed. Yeah, we can also see this runner is still running for this repo as well. So that has not been removed like when we did that process. So that's still there. So this build here is in progress here. So once this is completed, we will be able to log in. We will be able to see the same page on that AWS URL there, and we'll hit that with this URL. Okay, this is done, and now the build is done. Now the deployment stage is there. So let's see if the AWS is picking this or not. So this has been picked up by this AWS, and the Docker container is up. Now what we are going to do, we are going to run it on the Docker container with this 4200. We can see the AWS app is here. We will see if the backend is also working or not. So let's say integrations at gmail.com, or let's say outlook.com. So this user is added successfully, and we can see the list users. The name is integrations, and this details looks good. All the application is deployed successfully. So let's I had some doubt actually. I just want to hit and try that, so we can also make sure that this looks good. Actions runner. So our application is already deployed, so we don't have an issue. Just I want to confirm one thing, because I haven't seen this behavior from the GitHub end. I will just register this same runner here again. We already have done this process, so it's not will impact anything. If it does not, then we can create in the different repo also. So we'll configure the same runner here again in this EC2 this directory. So this is already there. We'll just remove this first. Okay, so that's the process was good actually. So we cannot remove this directly from that directory. We need to create a new directory, and we need to register that. That's how it will work. So that's the way like we can simply like deploy our application to AWS EC2. So thank you for joining us on this journey to deploy a mean stack application to AWS EC2 using Docker and GitHub Actions. This is the Angular application and the mean stack application. We hope you found this tutorial helpful in learning how to leverage these powerful tools to streamline your deployment process. With your application now running smoothly in the cloud, you are well equipped to scale and manage your projects with the confidence. Be sure to subscribe for more tutorials and stay tuned for the future content. Happy coding. Have a good day. Thank you.